Hey there. As always, I'm Sully, and welcome into the Gun Club. All right. I've got a setup streaming live on YouTube and, of course, on rumble.com. Over on Rumble, where we've got to give much respect to our wonderful CEO at Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky. Folks, if you haven't had a chance to hear or heard anything about it, over the last couple of weeks, or last week, I'd say, Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, had to get called on the carpet. He had a very tough decision to make. He was approached by a governmental agency from over in Europe telling him that he needed to censor certain people off the platform because the government didn't think they were good people and because certain accusations had been made against one individual. Now, it was an accusation. The individual is still, at least in this country, what we would call innocent until proven guilty. And Chris basically stood up and professionally told them, no, we believe in full free internet. We support full free internet. That is what we want to do. That is what we stand by. That is our goal. And so, therefore, it's decisions like that that mean why we keep our home over on Rumble. Yes, we'll do some streams on YouTube. We don't, nothing against the YouTube audience. I love you all too. But the Rumble audience is a special little group of people, and they are always ready to rumble, ready to come in and chat guns and other some fun stuff. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Mike Sullivan, go by the name Sully. I'm a firearms instructor here in beautiful, scenic upstate South Carolina. Ah, wonderful day today. About 75 degrees outside right now, bright, sunny, just a wonderful evening. Give it a couple of weeks or so, we'll be doing bonfires out in the evening on days like this. But until then, let's see what we can get into with our little adventure here. So, what do we have? Well, got a few things to go over tonight. Some good, some bad, a little bit change of a pace. Um, One of the first things I want to try to do here, let's see, I'm trying to make sure the stream is up both places. Yes, it seems to be streaming and it's working. Good deal. All righty. Well, for tonight, we're doing a weekly update. We've got a couple of quick channel announcements to make, changes coming into the channel. Going to try to add some more things. We've got a couple of big legal wins out of California we're going to update. We're going to do an incident report from Dallas, Texas, and another one from Oklahoma City. I've got a great video from the Dallas one. I don't have a video from Oklahoma City, but got a lot of information on it, been doing a lot of research on it. And as always, try to finish off on a positive note. Our good guy or good girl with a gun stories. Got a couple of those. When we talk about channel announcements, a couple of things are going to be new and different coming down the pike. First off, the weekly update show. We were doing it on the weekends, and recently I've been doing it Tuesday nights instead of either Saturday or Sunday. And there's a reason behind that. There's a method to my madness, I promise you. And that is largely, folks, if you didn't know me, I'm a bit of a football junkie. College, pro, USFL, anything else. And honestly, I end up watching about 14 to 16 games in a weekend. When I say weekend, I'm talking from Friday night through Monday night. Or nowadays, I guess Thursday night's in there too. But it's really kind of hard for me to get a good block to do the show and have all the research done and put together. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try to do the weekly update or the week update covering news, legal events, court decisions, incidents, good guy incidents, different things that have happened. We're going to do that pretty much Tuesday nights. Now, we're going to be adding another show starting this week on Thursday nights. It's going to be Let's Talk. Now, Let's Talk is going to be more topical. It's going to be maybe one, maybe two topics if they're small, talking about things like gun reviews of new guns we've taken out to the range, informational stuff, maybe some educational content. I know this week we're going to be talking a little bit about situational awareness. And if you're not sure what those two terms are, they're a big term. They're one of those things that can make the difference between going home in one piece, not having fired your gun, to not going home at all. And so we'll talk about situational awareness and how it plays a role, and we'll get into some different things about situational awareness. For those of y'all who've never heard about it before, definitely strongly recommend it. If you've got friends and they're the kind of friends they walk around, totally clueless to anything, well, you may want to let them know about the situational awareness video we're going to do. It's real down to earth, back to basic stuff, but good material and the kind of thing, again, designed to help you keep yourself alive. That's a good thing. I like it. Getting dead is bad, if you didn't know that. Okay, onwards and upwards from that. We'll start off with the California legal updates. Now, as y'all know, I don't necessarily hate the state of California. I've got some friends who live in California. I know a couple of very decent human beings who live in California. I feel bad for them. I wish they'd move to a free state, but they haven't gotten around to it yet. So, hey, that's fine. They're living out there. They're doing their best to try to live a good, decent life in well, behind enemy lines. So let's talk a little bit about what's gone on in the last week or so in the California courts. First off, there were two big wins for those of us on the 2A side of the family. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has struck down a ban on advertising firearms to minors. Now, when we talk about advertising firearms to minors, okay, the actual text of the bill was too long to put in here on the title, so I'm just going to explain it out. It was a ban on advertising firearms in such a way that may be considered attractive to minors. May be considered attractive to minors. Well, it was struck down as being unconstitutional by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, why is this important? Why do we care? Well, first of all, it's a crazy law. We'll talk about why. But secondly, is it something that is actually really well defined, or is it very vague? Advertising firearms in such a way as may be attractive to minors. Folks, a vague law like that is designed to be a snare. It's a trap. And what it's designed to is we can get this law passed on the books. It sounds like something. It doesn't really mean much of anything. But down the line, when Rob Bonta, the Attorney General of California, decides that he wants to use this law to go after a gun manufacturer and claim that they're doing something wrong, he can pull this out. It's a very vaguely written law. It doesn't say you can't advertise in comic books or you can't advertise on children's shows. Very simple for a company to know whether they're breaking that law or not. If the speed limit was posted on the road as just don't drive too fast, then I guess it's up to the person with the ticket book to decide if you're driving too fast or not. And if he is, he goes after you. He doesn't tell you what the law is. Again, ban on advertising firearms in such a way as they may be attractive to minors. What may be attractive to minors? Hello Kitty AR-15? Okay. Maybe attractive to minors, maybe not. Advertised in a Boy Scout magazine. That may be attractive to minors. But yet Boy Scouts do riflery. Now, of course, this is all brought about to end childhood shootings. Folks, here's why. It's a stupid law. Poorly written, yes. Written as a big, wide open snare trap over here to go after gun manufacturers and take cheap shots, yes. But here's why it's a stupid law. No matter where you advertise a firearm or how you advertise it, or if it is attractive to minors, legally, a minor cannot purchase a firearm in California. You got to be 18 minimum, 21 for handguns. So where or how you advertise it, whether you're advertising AR-15s and Bazooka Joe bubblegum, okay, great. If the kid wants it, the kid can't buy it without a parent doing it. No one can buy a firearm in California, among other states, without being a legal adult. So this whole thing of, well, they're advertising firearms in a way that could be attractive to minors. So the law being poorly written, wide open snare for anti-gun groups, anti-gun politicians, anti-gun AG. Yeah, Rob Bonta talking to you. It's designed to snare gun manufacturers, gun advertisers, everything else. And really, no matter how it's advertised, in a video game maybe, in a G.I. Joe packaging, what could they do? a little model that you can build. I mean, I've had someone get me a little model. I've got a little model of a carbine up there. Guess what? That could be advertised in a way as being attractive to minors. It gives them a way to drag firearm manufacturers or toy manufacturers or anyone else into court and just make their life more difficult. So it wouldn't serve any purpose because minors can't buy guns anyway. And all it would do was hurt manufacturers. So definitely great that got struck down. Basically, for all intents and purposes, on a First Amendment thing. Free speech. We can talk. You may not like what we say, but we can talk. We can say what we want. We can say what we believe in. Much following the lines of Chris Pavlovsky, CEO of Rumble, standing up for free speech last week. So definitely very, very positive result there. Now, I'm going to go one step further with that whole banning firearms way it could be attractive to minors. One of the things that is getting hurt by that is firearms companies, SIG, Smith, the big dogs, Remington, that used to do a hell of a lot voluntarily donating firearms, ammunition, sponsorships, uniforms, tournament prizes, etc., 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 to youth shooting sports. Youth sports, youth shooting sports, yes, kids learning safely in an appropriate setting by trained instructors is a good thing. Kids learning responsibility of firearms, kids learning that what they can do, how to use them properly, how not to have accidents with them. That kind of training and that kind of stuff saves lives. Kids, 7th grade, our high school had a riflery team. Yeah, they let us bring guns to school. And we didn't have all the shootings then. But learning in an appropriate setting under proper instruction is good and can prevent accidents and save lives. Activities such as this, banning advertisements in ways that could be considered attractive to minors, has prevented a lot of groups from getting in and supporting youth training, youth education, youth hunter education, and youth shooting sports. So, nicely, that law got blown out by the Court of Appeals. Now, they may try to push it up. California may try to push it up. If they do, hey, I hate it. If they don't, okay, fine. They'll take their lumps. Secondly, in the U.S. District Court, there had been a ban on magazines with a capacity over 10. They called them high-capacity magazines. I'm sorry, many modern firearms have standard capacity magazines that have over 10. My Browning has 13. My Smith has 15. I believe my Taurus has 15. The vast majority of my AR magazines are 30s. These are standard magazines. Nothing high capacity about it, excuse me. Nothing high capacity about it. That ban got struck down in the district court. Very nice to find out. Judge Benitez did a wonderful job. If you haven't had a chance to glance through his decision, strongly recommend it. He goes on and it talks about how, the state's case was that, people don't routinely need more than 10 rounds in a magazine for defensive purposes. Okay. And one great point that was raised by the other side, for the Pro 2A side, was how many people have magazines or have used magazines or carry routinely magazines with over 10 rounds? How about every law enforcement agency in the country? Well, they need magazines with more than 10 rounds with all the toys they have and other things. Why would John Q. civilian out there dealing with multiple attackers not want more than 10 rounds? And they did a lot of work debunking a lot of statistics. This is definitely good, well-written decision from California. It's the kind of thing that might help the great state of New York and New Jersey and some of the other places. I think Maryland has a mag limit ban. If you know a state that I'm missing that has a mag limit ban, throw it down in the chat, please, on Rumble or on YouTube in the comments. I try to keep up with as many of them as I can. I know, like I said, California, New York, New Jersey have mag limits. I think Maryland does, which, to me, anybody who is fairly proficient can drop a dead mag and put a fresh one in. you're talking maybe a second to 2 second difference. They're chasing magazine capacity because they won't chase criminals. And we'll see that situation here in a minute when go through some of these other issues here. But that again, Judge Benitez struck it down. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, had one of his crying fits, basically stating that, the radical judge obviously wants more children shot in mass shootings. Well, okay, whatever. We're not going to go there because it makes no sense. And, well, it is what it is. But great wins out of the state of California. And hopefully they survive any appeals on up the line. We're seeing, folks, a lot of real positive stuff in the 2A community, and I'm liking it. And that is good news for us. Now, folks, before we go on to Dallas here, I got a question for you. Is it me, or what in the world has happened with Burger King? I don't know. Haven't quite figured it out yet. Used to eat Burger King once in a while. Kind of good, flame grilled burgers. Kind of like veggies were decent on their burgers, kind of fresh. I always thought their burgers might be a little bit fresher than Mickey D's. Well, about 2 weeks ago, went to Burger King. I heard on the radio or on news or on here somewhere that they had this new Texas Double Whopper. Double Whopper? Big boy, like Double Whopper. Oh, Texas Double Whopper. Jalapenos, bacon. Oh, they're talking my language. Like a bacon double with jalapenos. I can get into that. So I went in there, ordered that. They also had some wraps at the time, as chicken wraps. So I got a Texas Double Whopper, no tomatoes, and a spicy chicken wrap, no tomatoes. Now, I like spicy stuff, don't get me wrong. Well, get home. The onion rings are literally ice cold, soggy, greasy, like the breading on them was, well, yeah. The Texas Double Whopper, started to take a bite of it. It had tomatoes on it. I made the edge of the tomato the red as I went to pick it up, and I'm like, stopped. And I'm allergic to tomatoes, so that could have been a little bit of a bad thing. So I ended up getting the tomatoes off there, have to scrape the tomato seeds off, have to dissect my damn dinner. And I'm sitting there and I'm just irritated and frustrated. And this little thing, how did we do, down at the bottom of the thing? I was like, well, I didn't do very well. So I contacted them. I sent an app. And it's no bullshit. I pulled up on my phone here. I sent them a text and it was, hey guys, nice job with your Whopper. Too bad I'm allergic to tomatoes, so you about killed me, but stuff happens, no hard feelings. They come back to me and said, hey, we sorry about that. We oops, our bad. Send us a copy of the receipt and everything. So they sent me a $15 credit to make up for, ruining my dinner. Okay. I was like, $15 credit. That ain't bad. Well, went through this whole little adventure and, had a $15 credit. So I decided today I'd go back and, I forgot to mention, like I said, the onion rings were soggy. The Whopper had tomatoes on it. The wrap that I ordered, the spicy buffalo chicken wrap, whatever, wasn't even in the damn bag. So yeah, they did me right at the drive-thru. Raw. But anyway, went by there today, had a friend with me, and she and I went by there figuring, okay, got a $15 credit. We'll blow the credit and grab dinner. I got a couple of the spicy chicken wraps. I figured maybe if we don't put a sandwich on there, they won't forget my damn wrap. Couple of wraps. She got those chicken fries or whatever they got. She ate hers, didn't like it. I got about halfway through my wraps and I threw the rest of it in the trash. Now, the onion rings were not soggy and greasy this time. The onion rings were halfway decent. They got that right. But my question is, folks, what is it about Burger King? They talk about, have it your way and home of the Whopper, and they've got all this stuff. Every one of the ads I saw during the football games this weekend, kind of one of the things that pushed me down that road, is all these Burger King Whoppers and all these ways you can get these Whoppers. And they can't make a damn sandwich worth of shit. And their onion rings, look, if you can't do onion rings, don't. And if chicken fries are going to literally, you take a chicken fry out of the box, set it on a piece of paper towel, if it's going to leave a grease track on it, maybe you're not doing your chicken fries right either. I mean, folks, honestly, when you can go through a drive-through at a restaurant and the best thing you get is the fountain drink, or the only thing that tastes right is the fountain drink, we've got a problem. And I'm not faulting the staff that works there. Maybe they're doing perfect, right, what they're supposed to do. Maybe it's above them. I don't know. Maybe they're printing the no tomatoes too small on shit. I haven't figured it out. But yeah, Burger King, you've lost. And yeah, she joked about the fact you need to take that receipt and see if you get another $15 credit. I said no, because I don't want another $15 credit. And I told her I had to stream tonight. I said, I'm going to go in there, try to do the stream tonight, just try to get through it and everything else. So, yeah, if I suddenly hang out, suddenly like mute the camera and you hear me hurling in the background, just remember, I'm having it your way. Yeah. Okay. Onwards and upwards into something a little bit more fun. Incident report out of Dallas, Texas. Now, this one, man narrowly escapes a jugging attack. Now, I didn't know what jugging was, so I did a little research. Jugging apparently is where criminals wait outside a bank to follow people home from the bank. Once they get to their home, they don't want to do the robbery right outside the bank. They wait for someone to come out of the bank, and then they follow them home. I'm assuming based on how their car looks or whatever else. Well, it looks like they got money. Well, and they approach the victim at home. In this case, they approach this man in the driveway of his home. They block the driveway with their vehicle, and they approach gun in hand. The suspects try to get the doors open. They're pounding on the windows, and this gentleman ends up having to basically make a run for his life, with him and his stepson's life, with three men holding him or waving guns at him in his driveway. And, the other thing was, as I looked further into jugging, I found a incident in Houston earlier this year where two individuals who shall remain nameless at this point, problem young children, young youths, grabbed a 44-year-old Vietnamese lady at the ATM, and it was a jugging attack in Houston. And the young man beat her up so badly and then picked her up, slamming her headfirst on the concrete, breaking her spine. 44 years old single mother will never walk again as a result of a jugging attack. Jugging attacks, you can Google it. It's apparently pretty prevalent. Something we need to be a little wary of. And, you'll see how this sort of all ties into a theme when we're talking about, Thursday night, we're going to talk about situational awareness. Yeah, let's look at this one. And I've got the live video on this. There's no one getting yeeted, no nasty blood sports or anything else like that. But on the other side of the coin, it's going to sort of give us a little bit of insight into what this looks like in live view. This is courtesy of WFAA4 News out of Dallas. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to put a big screen, give you all a good look at this guy. And let's run it here.
This is Mark Gardner, and he is talking with us, not because he wants to, but because he says he needs to.
I feel the message has to get out.
The message about what happened to them this week. The family shared this jarring and frightening video with us. The moment three armed men ambushed their car one afternoon, all spanning 15 seconds.
Okay, you look at this from the time he backs into his driveway until the time he's got people on top of him, or not on top of him, but up on him, guns drawn, pointed at his face, 10, 15 seconds. We look at very closely, their position. Now, these guys didn't quite do it very well. As you can see, their vehicle's a little bit too far off. This is taken from his home security camera. Again, you watch, he backed in his driveway. And what happened? And also, I want, just for the record, everyone take a quick look-see. I'm guessing that these young gentlemen who are involved in this attack, They're not GOA members, Gun Owners of America. They're probably not Second Amendment Foundation. They're probably not NRA members. They don't donate a lot of money to the NRA. Just my guess. I don't know. For all I know, they may all be NRA Gold Life members. They don't appear to be the white supremacists that we hear the FBI is all worried about. We just look at what happens to this guy.
Never, ever did I think something like this would happen.
We can tell you what happened in North Dallas. All other details we are protecting.
Okay, North Dallas. This is not a bad neighborhood. They followed this guy back to his home from his local bank branch. This is, again, he did nothing wrong. He didn't go in a bad area. He didn't do anything wrong. He made the mistake of going to the bank.
For their safety and because the family has asked us to. The video shows as soon as Mark backs into a driveway, this SUV stops in front, blocking the road. Mark is in the car with his older stepson.
I said, call your mother right away. Tell her, go hide in the house.
Okay, call your mother. Tell her to hide in the house. Lock your doors. Hide. Fortunately, she listened. She didn't come outside and try to help him. Chances are they would have turned and killed her. I don't know if those guns were loaded. I don't know if those guns were real. What I do know is 3 people attacking this elderly gentleman. Something's wrong here. Something's very wrong in this world.
I'm calling the police.
3 men run out, all carrying guns. One also carrying a sweatshirt trying to hide his identity. They pull on the door handles, tap the windows, then try to bust through them.
This is where they took the butt of the gun and kept pounding it. Give it up, give it up.
Dallas police confirms to us in a police report Mark had been followed from a bank, an act police call jugging, and it's happening more and more in North Texas.
So I started banging back and it startled the guy. He went back like this.
Mark then takes off, drags 2 of the suspects with hands on the handles. Mark slips through the narrowest gap between.
Okay, maybe not the narrowest gap. I mean, a little bit of a gap there. Okay, but, fortunately, these guys did not do a better job of blocking him in. With that utility pole there and that car there, had they come up in here, they may well have had him pinned in. He might have been able to get through over here. My point is, someone followed him from the bank right to his home. Now, these young gentlemen, these youths, as the judge would call them, and my cousin Benny, they know where this gentleman lives. They know where Mark lives. They know who's trying to, get them arrested. This is not a good situation. Why do I bring it up? Well, it doesn't necessarily involve gun crime or gun anything, but it's a screeching situational awareness. This is one of those things of the fact that the police are actively talking about this happening, the fact that this is so common that they have a name for it, specifically drugging. Be aware. If you go to a bank, whether you're dropping off money or picking up money, if you're getting followed on the way home, and we'll talk about it more in the whole situational awareness thing, folks, it can get to be a bit of an issue. So again, watch that, check it out, see what you can, but you're putting yourself at risk. Alrighty. Getting on Oklahoma City, we had an incident over the weekend. Now, this one's interesting. As shots fired at the Oklahoma State Fair. Now, I have a couple friends, live in Oklahoma City. I believe one of them is retired law enforcement. Oklahoma City, one person was wounded, is in critical condition as of this morning at the Oklahoma State Fair. Now, it's really interesting because when this came out over the weekend, it came out Friday night, I believe, Saturday night. And it began as 2 groups arguing. Someone pulled a gun and began shooting. Now, it was told over the Twitter feed and everything else, active shooter. So I started looking at it real quickly. One person was wounded initially. A second suspect somewhere in the crowd began shooting into the air during the panic. The police did question 2 individuals, released one of the 2, and the other one is in custody. Individual is 17 years old. Again, 17 years old with a handgun. I'm guessing not your average NRA member or Second Amendment advocate. Chances are a little bit different person there. Now, of course, the next question is, we need more gun laws. Well, no, the 17-year-old having a handgun broke one. Him shooting at someone, 2. Now, the fact the fairgrounds is a 100% gun-free zone has metal detectors, they're thinking he did not get the gun in through the main gate. Either he didn't come in through the main gate or the gun itself didn't get through the main gate. Somehow something else got snuck in, and they're not sure quite how, whether he had a friend who worked there or something else. They're still investigating that and digging in a little bit further to how the gun got past metal detectors, security, gun-free zone, everything else. My point is, gun restrictions didn't work. Gun-free zone didn't work. Metal detectors didn't work. Security didn't work. Still got the gun in. And I bring these cases up because, again, someone got shot here. Now, fortunately, there's only one person got shot. Whoever the second one who was shooting in the crowd, they think now from what they're looking at that was outside of the gate, may have been in a parking area, remote, something else that began shooting. For all we know, it was fireworks that were going off. They're not really 100% on that. But the one guy who was caught with the gun, the 17-year-old, they going back looking at video to see how he came in, because apparently all the entrances are monitored, so they're going to try to figure out how he got in there. But we go through this whole thing, and two groups of 17-year-olds, let's say. I don't know what the ages of the other ones were. 2 groups of young people, 2 groups of young adults, what would we call 2 groups arguing, and then one member of one of the groups is 17 and pulls a gun. Gangs? Oklahoma City, do they have any gangs over there? Anyone, if you know anything about Oklahoma City gangs, well, heads up here. I'm in South Carolina. I don't know. But to me, when I hear 2 groups of people were arguing and someone whipped out a gun, that sounds like gang violence. However, again, the media spin I hear coming out is definitely not gang violence. It was, active shooter at the fair. Well, there was one individual at the fair who engaged in gang violence. Now, again, is there a gun law that would stop this? No, because it was a gun-free zone. Well, maybe we need metal detectors. Well, it didn't work. Maybe it's security. That didn't work. I have an idea. Maybe, and again, just maybe, and I thought about this, and I've actually suggested this a couple of places. We start doing this where if you are, under 18, you don't get charged as an adult, blah, 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 blah. How about 13 and up? If you've got a gun, a real firearm, not a kid toy gun, not a Nerf, not a, 13 and up, if you've got a real gun, how about we charge you like an adult? You can squeeze the trigger and take the life like an adult. You've got the same ability to end another human's existence like an adult. And what would happen if states started saying, 13 and up, sorry, he had a gun with him when he got that, so we're charging him as an adult. Would that be mean? Oh, that'd be bad. But we've got 13, 14, 15, 17-year-olds running around with guns with impunity. And don't get me started about, the mess out in Vegas. We're not doing that one here today. But, all righty, now, we've heard the bad stuff that happens with guns. We've seen the bad stuff that happens with guns. And one of the reasons why we're sort of splitting the shows off is this good guy with the gun segment. I've enjoyed doing it. I really enjoy doing it. I don't know if you all noticed that or not. And part of the reason I think I do enjoy it so much is just the fact that, well, I don't know how to put this nicely. We hear in the mainstream media every negative thing about guns. Well, if you look in the media and there's 100 stories about guns and 99 of them are negative events and only one is a positive event, we get the picture and the world reframes our world. And that's, what it is. Everything about guns is negative. Guns are always bad. And if we go around and people go around with a worldview that guns are always negative and bad and awful and mean, guess what? It's not true. And so we're going to be spreading out a little bit more with the good guy with the gun stuff. Now, in this one, Manchester, Kentucky, a 44-year-old male tried to break into a house. As he's trying to break in, the resident tries to stop his attack. An altercation ensues. Eventually gets to the point where the resident has to shoot the attacker. The suspect was then transported by EMS to a hospital, was airlifted from there to a trauma center, and passed away eventually at the trauma center. Kentucky State Police are investigating. Appears it's going to be ruled self-defense. Again, it's very cut and dry. Someone breaking into a house. Now, this one wasn't a child breaking into a house. It's a 44-year-old. Do I know his what, where, when, or why? No, I don't. Do I know anything about him? No, I don't. Sadly, I can't really find out anything from him. I do know that he lost his life. He tried to break into someone's home. And again, we look at the last guy in the Dallas video. He was backing in the driveway at his home when he was attacked. Is your home safe? Is your home ready? Are you ready? Because it used to be, okay, well, I live in a safe neighborhood. I just won't go in the bad area. Folks, if you live in the good area now, people from the bad area are coming to get you. I hate to break it to you, but we're seeing it time and time and time again. And let's face it, if you lived in the worst part of town, they don't have much good stuff to steal. Go over to the good side of town. That's where the better stuff is. They steal better stuff there, apparently. Now, this one, Las Vegas. A resident fends off not one, but two masked burglary suspects. And this happened 9 something in the morning on the 20th, just this month. Two individuals wearing masks, gloves, and dark clothing were attempting to force their way into the back door of a residence. Two people, masks, gloves, dark clothing. No, they weren't just out for a jog. Tried to force their way in the back door. Now, there are two people at home at the time. It was a 70-year-old male and his 50-year-old son. Boy, I bet that 70-year-old male was glad the 50-year-old son was there, because the 50-year-old son retrieves a firearm, ends up opening fire. One burglar ends up deceased on the scene, found deceased. The other one, in his 20s, escaped, and he was arrested shortly thereafter. He had a bullet wound to his leg. They, what I'm hearing, the PD that's investigating, I believe it's North Las Vegas PD, is investigating it. But, and I want to throw this out there as a big but, it's already been hypothesized, suggested, or that they may need to look into these two individuals, one who's deceased, but the other one who survived, in relation to multiple other burglaries in the area where the suspects involved fit this description. So person A and person B are going out every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. This ain't the middle of the night. No. 9 o'clock in the morning, someone is pounding in your back door. Not one, but two individuals. They've got masks. They've got gloves. They don't want to leave fingerprints about what they're about to do. If you are home alone, or you're home with your son or your daughter, it's up to you to stop them or be their victim. Now, maybe if you scream, help, help, I'm calling 911, maybe they bail out of it. I don't know. Or maybe they decide they just need to hurry a little bit. But in this case, well, one is deceased, one is in jail, and is going to be tried for his crimes and may well be blamed for the dearly departed accomplice. Folks, it is what it is. I hate to be like this, but I don't want to see anyone die. I really don't. But if someone's going to lose their life, I'd much rather it be the guy in the gloves and mask who's coming in someone's back door in broad daylight than the 50-year-old or the 70-year-old who are home, in their home, their castle. So it is what it is, folks. Folks, if you've enjoyed what we've done, please go ahead, give us a follow on Rumble, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, you know all the things, like it, comment, help us a little fund the algorithm. We say yes. Are we ready to rumble? Yes, of course we're ready to rumble. Do me a favor, share it out to your friends. We're trying to provide good news, information, the stuff you can't find in the mainstream media, or at least don't see in the mainstream media. And join us this week, Thursday night, 1900 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about situational awareness. And we're going to go deep on it. And the reason I want to do that, and I want to do it separately from these streams get to be very, I don't want to say drama ridden, but emotional and political and nasty sometimes. And, let's face it, we're talking about people getting eaten or eating other people or eating multiple people or actively eating people. And, some of the stuff I want to do a little bit more educational, two-way education, personal protection education. We're going to be doing that, just trying again, put something out. It's all worth watching. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself. Be smart. Be safe. Bye.